Hello everyone and welcome to the 6th week of HRL Forza short track, winter short track showdown action. And this is going to be on Grand Oak. You can see the qualifying times on your screen. And very, very competitive, 2nd through all the way to 5th. Really, really close in this qualifying session. And we're off to green flag. We actually got to do the in-game rolling start here, so a little bit quicker to the green. And really close in turn 1. Looks like Luke's going to have the lead.
Got beef.
All right,
I'm
in my rear view.
Here we go.
We're trying to keep it close here. The early running of the race. Try to compete for the lead if you can. And yeah, still super tight for all these positions. I think DJ and Detail really close right there too. DJ debuting a new scheme here with the Mountain Mist retro action, retro looking scheme. Looks like something straight out of like late 80s, early 90s, and pretty cool to see different styles throughout the field still. Ramda saw his scheme and was apparently like, fuck that, just ruined the rear bumper right there. But Ramda actually having a really good run here early on. He was able to get by DJ with that. He's right on Detail's bumper as well, so Ramda with some early aggression here on lap 1 and looking like he's having a really good first lap actually. And yeah, first lap completed there. See the gaps for the podium spots starting to stretch out a bit. Luke having a nice lead. Matt and Opix really close for 2nd and 3rd. But the rest of the field super, super tight early on here at Grand Oak. And again, we're running the club circuit, which is a bit shorter compared to the normal Grand Oak circuit. And I really like this one. I was looking forward to this race on the calendar the whole time because I just think it's really nice for racing, for battling. Like just the way this layout is, and just like really a lot of high-speed corners and a lot of room to work with. Like I feel like the last couple tracks we've done have been super tight, at least on the road course side, have been super tight, like Lime Rock and Brands Hatch. Really fun tracks, don't get me wrong, but very, very tight. Not a lot of runoff, not a lot of room to work with. And then this one is not like that at all. As you can see, especially this front stretch right here, plenty of room to work with. Probably go like 6 wide if you wanted to on that front straightaway. And I don't think the entire track is that wide, but the entire track is definitely more wide than those last couple road courses that we've done. So just nice to have a different style here. And again, I think it'll be really nice for racing. And, you know, we've seen a lot of difficulty those last few tracks. A lot of grass, a lot of trips through the grass. And stuff like that. And I think we should probably see, as Ramda goes through the grass, but on the inside at least right there, I think we should probably see less of that on this track, which will hopefully keep the racing a bit tighter because it'll be more about, you know, your lap times and actually battling each other and less about managing the mistakes. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for with this track. We'll see if it actually pans out that way. A few laps down here. See Luke opening up a pretty good lead, and the second place fight's actually getting really, really close. It's Opix, Matt, Detail right now, and it's looking like it's going to be a 3-way fight for second is what we're seeing right now. And then we've got DJ in the top 5 at the moment. Slunch looking into the top 5, trying to get there. Roman and Armada battling for the back. I'll give Armada a shout out. Actually out qualified Roman in this one. And again, like that first lap, really strong, going to the back now, but looking a lot better early on in this race. So nice to see there. I'm sure Nate Schott will be happy. Sure, Nate will be happy to see that. We have a really close battle for 3rd right now, Matt and Detail. And this corner right here, the second to last corner on the track, I'm probably gonna mistakenly call it the last corner a lot because it's the last like real corner. It's not actually the last corner. I mean, obviously you have this turn right here. But it's the last one with like a lot of braking. That actual last corner is pretty wide open in these cars. And that corner is very tricky, and it's one that you guys are going to want to look out for in every single race. I think most of the drivers are saying this, and I definitely agree. I think it's the trickiest corner on the entire track. And it's really difficult because it just like the way that it's laid out, it really invites you to dive deep to the inside early on. But if you do that, what ends up happening is you usually don't have a very good exit. You usually are like driving straight off the track. If you do that inside dive and are trying to get to the gas really early, it just sends you straight off the track, straight into the grass, and that's obviously not ideal. So the way, I think the best way to take that corner is like a late apex type thing, so like outside to inside, like late swoop, and that's the best way to take it. But it's just, again, it's like really inviting to go for the inside there, and it can be good, to be fair, for passes to make an inside dive right there and just try to block the inside, you know, force the person that's going for the late dive a little more high than they're expecting, a little more than they're comfortable with. And that could be a really good place to make moves. So it's a really tricky corner, and definitely keep an eye out on that one, because I think you'll see a lot of action for passes, a lot of mistakes, like just everything in that corner. I think it's easily the hardest one on the track. So definitely keep an eye out for that. Detail got around Matt eventually and has a decent gap here, but it's still very close. Second, third, fourth, all still very close with each other. And I think we'll see a lasting podium fight here throughout the race, hopefully. We'll come up to pits shortly in a few laps. And we did something different this night. We messed around with the tire wear. The first race on 6X tire wear, second race is going to be on 7X, and the last race on 8X. So we'll see varying strategies throughout the motos. Like, the strategy will probably shift throughout all the motos, which is something that we haven't really seen, except for, I guess, last week at Brands Hatch, but that was also like rain versus dry, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, so that should be interesting. That should be interesting to see how it plays out. Obviously, the first race, you know, maybe the mediums and the softs are more what you're going to want to go for, because it's the least tire wear that you'll see on the entire night. And then the second race will probably be more normal with the 7X. Like, that's what we've ran in most races, so it'll probably just be the normal expected strategy, and you'll probably just see a mix for everybody. And then the last race, 8X, is going to be really, really hard on these drivers, and they will probably lean on the hard tire in that one. You'll probably see, you might even see like hards and mediums, or maybe even double hards, which is not something that we've really seen, but that might be the strategy for that last race. So yeah, it's just going to be different strategies to look out for in every single race tonight, and these drivers are really going to have to try to stay on top of it to have the best performance possible. And right there, I think this battle with DJ and Slaunch right here, putting on a really good example of what I was talking about with that corner, where you saw DJ got to the inside like really early, and maybe was a little bit slower through the middle, but Slaunch had that momentum, but he didn't really have anywhere to go because of the way DJ positioned himself. So that's the type of thing that you could pull off in that corner, and it's yeah, there's a lot of racecraft there. So it'd be interesting to watch that evolve throughout the night. If we can see drivers eventually maybe be able to pull off a crossover there or something different. But yeah, a lot of it's probably my favorite. I don't know, the first corner. Honestly, the first corner is pretty fun. But it might be one of my favorite corners on the track just because of the racecraft involved with it, and I think we'll see some really fun stuff there. But I really like the first corner as well, because obviously you just have that massive momentum going into the first corner, and I think that the video doesn't really showcase. I think DJ doing it again right there, and again, like, just launched nowhere to go, and he's actually going to pit this lap. Oh wow, late decision. I like that late decision from DJ as well, covering it. Wow, good action right here from DJ and Slaunch. That was pretty funny. But yeah, showcasing that racecraft there in the last corner for a little bit again. But the first corner, finishing my thought from earlier, I just don't think the video like really showcases it, but you're just carrying a ton of speed for these corners, or for these cars, into that first corner, and it's a really high speed corner, and it feels like, if you take it properly, it feels like you're going to fly off the track into the grass on the exit rumble, but you don't. You just perfectly get on the rumble, just keep that momentum into the next turn, and it's really fun if you get it right, and something that Armada pointed out in practice, and I agree with this. The rumbles sound really, really satisfying on this game in general, but specifically on this track, because this track,
I'm literally on
I think it encourages you to hit a lot of the rumbles.
I'm touching his bumper.
Some of the tracks it depends. Some tracks you kind of want to hit them, some tracks you don't. This track, I think generally you do want to hit the rumbles. I think that's generally where you want to be. Although, that reminds me, another interesting aspect of that second to last turn is that that's one of the rumbles that I do think you want to avoid. I think the first turn rumble, I think you want to avoid. The inside rumble, at least the exit rumble, is good. I think the first turn rumble you generally want to avoid because it can upset the car and kind of like send you off. And then that second to last turn rumble is the same, well, similar, because it's just really slippery for some reason. There's just no grip. on that rumble. And then also, like what I said earlier, of how you don't necessarily want to be that far inside early unless you're going for a pass. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting aspect of this track, is that there's a lot of rumbles all over the track, but some of them, again, I think you're very encouraged to hit. Some of them you're not. And going through the laps, going through practice, going through qualifying, trying to figure out like which rumbles are good, which rumbles are not, definitely an important aspect of this race. That, again, maybe doesn't come through on the video as much, but I think it's definitely a very important aspect of it. Slunch and Deech just going at, wow, I really like that action shot right there. I really like that particular shot on the replay camera of the drivers coming up that hill. Whoever on the developer side placed that replay camera, you cooked. I really like that one. I don't know why. Wow, Slunch getting really loose right there. You can tell he's just trying everything he can to get by DJ right here. Just has not been able to do it, but Deech goes really wide right there. Maybe this is going to be the opportunity. He does have a nice gap, though, still. So he's still going to hold on to that position. But yeah, I don't know why, but that one replay camera, whoever placed that one did a great job. It's one of my favorite ones that I've seen doing all these race replays. I really like that one. We'll see that a lot throughout the night. And here we go. This might be it. Slunch going for that inside move, and he does a nice job right there of sticking it really far to the inside, but not making too much contact with that inside rumble. Again, like I said, I think that inside rumble of turn 1 is one that you actually want to avoid, and Slunch had a really good showcase right there. He got super far to the inside, but did not get his tires on that rumble, or if he did, it was like hardly at all. And he was able to keep his momentum, able to, keep the trajectory through the corner that he wanted, and while getting really loose again there. I don't know why DJ and Slunch just looking like they're struggling for grip here. That actually reminds me, that is something that the drivers brought up. Everybody kind of felt the same way. I'm not sure exactly why this is, because we do have the dynamic track rubber on, and what that should do is increase the grip as the race goes on. But everybody, even people that went onto the softs, everybody in the lobby said the same thing, from what I can remember, which was that after the pit stop, it felt, even after the tires warmed up, it just felt like there wasn't as much grip. For some reason on the track, which is interesting, again, because we have the dynamic track rubber on, and that's supposed to increase it. But even like right there, look at Deech, he's like Tokyo drifting all the way through turn 1. I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's actually true or if it was just something that we were feeling. But definitely interesting, because it shouldn't be the case. So maybe, it could be a thing like we saw with the Brands Hatch race, where the wet tires, the different degrees of rain that changed throughout the race 100% affected the tire wear throughout the race. So maybe I wonder if it's the same thing with the dry, but a little bit different. Like the tire wear stayed the same, but like the grip level of the track, like now that we're in this like foggy, now that the sun's starting to come out, if maybe the grip level goes down a little bit compared to how it was like super early morning, no sun at the beginning of the race. Maybe that's actually a thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's just something that we're feeling, and maybe we're all crazy. But it's definitely something interesting. I don't know exactly how you test it. It's one of those things that's hard to test, because it's hard to tell whether, you running slower lap times is you just actually running slower lap times, right? Like not hitting your marks as well, or if it's actually a grip difference. Like it's hard to tell, hard to test. So not exactly sure on that one. That's the shot I'm talking about right there. I really like that shot on the replay cam. I don't know why. I just think it's perfectly placed for this track. I think it's awesome. It's a track that we could definitely see return for future series, because again, I think they turn 10 for some reason, a lot of people like to give them shit for their like custom made tracks, like their fantasy tracks, their fake tracks in their games for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. We'll get back to that in a moment. Big moment right there for Matt. We're gonna take a look at a replay on that one, and this is what I was talking about. Got on the gas a little too early, probably got super tight on the exit of the turn, and he did a good job of keeping it off the guardrail right there, because that would have been catastrophic. That would have been really bad. So he did a good job of that, but he does lose a bit of time right there. And it was looking like he was, it was close earlier in the race, but Opix has a big gap for second now. It was looking like Matt would have third place locked up too, but that obviously cost him a bunch of time, and Detail's still lurking in fourth, so that podium spot might still be open, so we'll keep an eye on this as we go here. But yeah, finishing the point, I don't know, if you look online, a lot of people love to give them shit for their custom tracks. I don't know why. Like, this is one of them, and I think this one's really fun. And then we also have Hakone in the game, which isn't the most complex track, but I think that's kind of the point of it. It's more of a aesthetic track. But the racing on there is, like, really fun, too. I've had some of my most fun races on that track. I've done a lot of GT races online on that track. They've been really fun. Always, like, super competitive. I think I've had the same experience with this track. So at least with these 2 examples, I think they did a really good job on these. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think they deserve as much flack as they get for the tracks. At least for these 2 in particular. I think they did a pretty nice job, and I think they're really fun to run laps on and battle on. All right, getting close to the end of the race here. A couple laps to go. I love the tire marks there too. How that develops over the course of the race. That's really cool to see. Yeah, that's really neat stuff. But Matt kicking up a little bit of grass right there, still trying to hold on to this podium spot, which would be huge for him. He has a really close points battle with Opix, and Opix obviously running in the position in front of him. So if he can stay one position behind him and just like minimize that loss, that would be massive. But right there goes super wide. It's obviously going to cost him a bunch of time. On the bright side, does not go into the grass this time, but does go super wide. You can clearly see lost a bit of time to detail there. So it's getting really close for this 3rd place position, and it looks like most of the other spots are locked up from what we can see going to the white flag lap right here. This 3rd place battle is definitely still on, so we're going to stay on board with this one, see if Matt can bring that Arby's machine home for a podium. We'll get you know, some beef coupons for the field, if that's the case. Nah, I'm kidding, not sponsored. Oh. All right, anyways, white flag, here we go. Matt trying to break the draft right there, the best that he can. Trying to not give Detail any opportunities on this last lap, or the best opportunity that he possibly can, by just, you know, getting rid of that draft, trying to take that out of the equation. And still trying to hold on here. We're about halfway through the lap right now. Doing a good job so far. Love this shot. Still love it. But Detail seems to be on a pretty good lap. It looks like he's closed the distance a little bit. And he does it again. Matt goes super wide in the exact same corner. And now he's going to have to swoop back over to try to defend. But here comes Detail with the better line. And now it's side by side. The battle for 3rd is opened up. And Matt trying to hold on the inside. Trying to hold this position. Very, very close. Probably got on the rumble right there. Which again, like I said, there's not a lot of grip right there. And Detail's going to make it stick around the outside. Can Matt get the draft? Can he get the slingshot before they get back to the line? Let's see. He's definitely got a run. I don't know if he's going to have enough time. No, it looks like he's not going to. Detail going to take the 3rd place podium on the last lap. Matt going to take 4th. And really close battle here between Deech and Roman as well for 6th, but Deech going to hold on to that one. So see the replay here. Luke taking the win for this one, and Opix going to be taking 2nd place. There we go. There's Opix. Holding on a second there. Very strong run. You saw the battle in the background there. And then Armada rounding out the field in 8th. All right, hope you guys enjoyed it. Really good race there. Really good first race at Grand Oak. A lot of good battles, and obviously that's going to spice up in these later motos with the invert and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you in Moto 2.